I'm going to tell you 7 history facts. Every one of them will sound completely made up. Not one of them is. By the time we get to number 7, I guarantee you will have had to stop and check at least one of them. Let's go. Number 7 is the one that gets everyone. I am starting with number 1. Fact 1. Cleopatra and the pyramids. Cleopatra lived closer in time to the moon landing than to the construction of the Great Pyramids. That sentence is mathematically correct. Here are the numbers. The Great Pyramid of Giza was completed around 2560 BC. Cleopatra was born in 69 BC. That means Cleopatra lived 2,491 years after the pyramids were finished. The moon landing was 1969 AD. That is just 2,038 years after Cleopatra died. The pyramids are more ancient to Cleopatra than Cleopatra is to us. When Cleopatra visited the pyramids as a tourist, and she did visit them, they were already older to her than the Roman Empire is to us today. She was an ancient person visiting ancient history. We tend to picture ancient history as one flat era. Egyptians, Romans, Greeks, all living roughly at the same time in the same vague past. They did not. The gap between the pyramids and Cleopatra is larger than the gap between Cleopatra and your smartphone. Julius Caesar also visited the pyramids. To him, they were as ancient as Julius Caesar is to us right now. Fact 1 is verified. Moving on. Fact number 2. Nintendo was founded in 1889. The Wright brothers first flew in 1903. Nintendo is older than powered flight. Fusajiro Yamauchi founded Nintendo in Kyoto, Japan, on September 23, 1889, as a manufacturer of handmade playing cards called Hanafuda. The company that would eventually create Mario, Zelda, and Donkey Kong spent its first 70 years making card games. Here is the full timeline of things that happened after Nintendo was founded. The Eiffel Tower was completed, March 1889. The Wright brothers flew. 1903. World War I. 1914. Penicillin discovered. 1928. The First World Cup. 1930. World War II. 1939. The first commercial computer. 1951. Nintendo releases its first video game console. 1977. Super Mario. 1985. The same company that employed craftsmen making playing cards by hand in Meiji, Japan, now sells $15 billion of video games per year. Nintendo has outlasted empires. The Austro-Hungarian Empire, the Ottoman Empire, the British Empire, and the Soviet Union all rose and fell during Nintendo's lifetime. Nintendo is still selling playing cards. Fact number 3. The fax machine was invented 33 years before the telephone. Alexander Bain invented the fax machine in 1843. Alexander Graham Bell invented the telephone in 1876. The technology to send documents over a wire existed before the technology to send your voice. Bain's machine used a synchronized pendulum system to transmit images electrically from one location to another. The Victorian era was already faxing. People in 1850 could send a document across a wire. They could not call each other to discuss it for another 33 years. Fact number 4. The Eiffel Tower was supposed to be demolished. Built for the 1889 World's Fair in Paris, Gustave Eiffel's original contract with the city specified that the tower would be dismantled after 20 years and the materials sold for scrap. It was the most hated structure in Paris. Leading French artists and intellectuals signed a petition calling it a disgrace. Victor Hugo opposed it. Guy de Maupassant ate lunch at the restaurant inside the tower every day, not because he liked it, but because it was the only place in Paris where he could not see it. The tower was saved for one reason. It was the tallest structure in the world, and it functioned as a radio transmission tower. During World War I, the transmitter at the top of the Eiffel Tower intercepted German military communications and jammed enemy radio signals at critical moments in the war. A scrap metal sale became the most recognized structure on Earth because of a radio antenna. Fact number 5. The Great Fire of London officially killed 6 people. The fire burned for 5 days in September 1666. It destroyed 13,200 houses, 87 churches, most of the medieval city of London. The official death toll recorded at the time, 6. Modern historians believe the actual number was far higher. Thousands of the poorest residents, those who lived in cellars, alleyways, and the most densely packed areas of the city, were never counted. Their deaths were not recorded because their lives were not recorded. The official figure of 6 has stood for 358 years. Not because it is accurate, because no one with authority to change it ever investigated it deeply enough to do so. Fact number 6. Oxford University is older than the Aztec Empire. Teaching at Oxford has been recorded from 1096 AD. The Aztec Empire was founded in the 1300s. Oxford was already 200 years old before the Aztec civilization existed. And if you want to go further, the University of Bologna, founded in 1088 AD, is even older than Oxford. Bologna was teaching when the Aztec civilization had not yet begun. The oldest continuously operating university in the world has been running for nearly 1,000 years. It was awarding degrees before the Americas had a known empire. Fact number 7. This is the one. Göbekli Tepe. Located in southeastern Turkey. Built around 9600 BC. That is 11,600 years ago. Stonehenge was begun around 3000 BC. Göbekli Tepe is 6,600 years older than Stonehenge. The pyramids are 7,000 years newer than Göbekli Tepe. It is a complex of circular stone enclosures, each containing T-shaped pillars up to 18 feet tall, carved with detailed reliefs of animals, insects, and abstract symbols. It was built by hunter-gatherers, people with no writing, no cities, no agriculture, no permanent settlements. We do not know why it was built. We do not know what it was for. And then, around 1800 BC, it was deliberately buried. The entire complex was filled in by its own builders, carefully, methodically, covered with soil and rubble and sealed. Nobody knows why. We found it because a Kurdish farmer noticed strange stones in his field in 1994. Most of it has not yet been excavated. It may be the oldest religious site ever found on Earth. Or it may be something for which we have no word. 7 facts, all of them verified, all of them real. If you are still here, subscribe to Strange Fact Vault. And comment, which one do you still not believe? Every one of them is real. Go check.